Hello everyone. I think Magatha Grimtotem made Dragonflight happen, and here's why. We've been told that the Dragon Isles, they lost the magic juices after the Sundering, and so the dragons locked the doors behind them, hid their broodlands from the rest of the world in the hopes that one day the magic juice might come back and that they can come home. It took well over 10,000 years for that to happen, for Stony Tony to open his eyes again and light the beacon. But why? Why did the elemental juices rise now? Does it have something to do with the jailer trying to steal Azeroth's lifeblood? Does it have to do with the world slowly healing, even though there's still a sword stuck inside of her?
Wait, what? What sword?
Nah, none of that. It was Magatha all along. Or, at the very least by extension, her #1 student.
Mistress of the storm, the primal powers have risen to set you free.
That's right. Kurok Grimtotem was once a prized pupil of Magatha. How did this Tauren know about the incarnates, the rituals required to charge himself up and free them? Why? He learned it from Magatha, of course. She's been all about that power and trying to improve her position within the world. She became the matriarch of the Grimtotem clan through an arranged marriage that many suspect she arranged herself. And then, wouldn't you know it, whoopsie-daisy, she lost her mate to an unforeseen climbing accident, putting her squarely in command of the Grimtotems. Then there was still Cairn Bloodhoof to compete with, and the old bull was no fool. He knew full well what she was about. Still, he kept it around, a keep your enemies close kind of deal. Too close, it seems, as when she offered to bless Garrus' weapon for his Mak'gora with Cairn, the chieftain of the Bloodhoof Tauren still entered the arena. He was actually winning that fight, until Garrus struck him once, and the poison Magatha was so kind to provide did the rest. Now, we would never know who would have won a fair fight. A stain on Garrus' honor, which the Wards of the Horde did not appreciate. She had actually expected him to stand with her as she took over Thunderbluff. But instead, he wished her a quick demise, as Cairn's son Bane returned to claim his home. Following the wisdom of his father, he decided to exile them rather than execute. Those that stepped away from Magatha, they were still offered a home with the rest of the Taurens. And those that did not, they followed her into the wilds, where next time we met, Magatha found herself in a bit of a pickle. The Twilight Hammer clan had captured her. But no worries, nothing that the Elder Crone can't turn in her favor, as she recruits adventurers to not only help set her free, they also hook her up with some special powerful artifacts, like the Doomstone. This stone is capable of absorbing and amplifying elemental powers. Well, she promised us that our next encounter was gonna be our last. She instead thought that the Legion was a bigger threat to her and her people, so she showed up at the Shaman Order Hall demanding our aid.
I am Magatha of the Grimtotem tribe, and I will be heard!
Which we provided, cleaning out our home, getting back those powerful artifacts, like the so-called Doomstone. This time, we were smart enough to not just hand it back to her. Even in our hands, the power caused chaos and panic amongst our people. Imagine it in the control of someone with ill intent. We could not let that happen. Our friendly elemental lords considered giving it a new home within one of their elemental planes, but each one provided its own dangers. So the Maelstrom was decided to be the safest place to keep the artifact at, and wherever the artifact went, Magatha stayed to keep an eye on it. Eventually, the war against the Legion was won. We unceremoniously left the order halls behind, including any stories or artifacts. Surely, I hear you think, surely someone must have remembered to safeguard the artifact, keep it away from Magatha, but might it remind you of the time in which the Naga all of a sudden got their hands on the Tidestone of Golganath? We had left that artifact behind within the Tomb of Sargeras, and apparently left no one behind to guard it. It's not that far-fetched to imagine that the Doomstone was forgotten about as well. So here we have a very powerful Grimtotem, deeply rooted in the powers of the elements, extremely ambitious, passing on her craft, potentially having the Doomstone charged up with elemental magics. Let's not forget that they had like 7 years to charge the device. The Elemental Lord Smolderon has also been said to be missing from his elemental plane of fire, and that information is known since Battle for Azeroth, so after we said goodbye to the Legion. Quite a lot of firepower to subjugate. Could the Doomstone have absorbed and unleashed enough elemental energies in order to reawaken the Dragon Isles? Perhaps a side effect of going for the incarnates, of going for something else. I could imagine someone like Magatha, someone who's able to turn imprisonment by the Twilight Hammer into her favor, that she would be able to deep dive into archives, ancient records, able to uncover knowledge long forgotten, and go release the incarnates to subjugate them. Since you see, that is something that I wonder about. What would be Magatha's endgame in releasing the Incarnates, and why have we seen her take front and center on the stage? She is known to work from the shadows, but at the same time, she's not shy from taking in the glory either. Could it be that her students, similar to like a Gul'dan pushing away his mentor Ner'zhul, that her Kurok felt like it was time to spread his wings and fully surrender to the will of the elements? This would then in turn allow Magatha to come into the story and help us along the way, help us in doing something against these elemental forces. Her knowledge would be of great help if and when the other incarnates are set free. She could also be a great tour guide into figuring out what happened to Smolderon, get us back in touch with the other elemental lords, who up to this point, in an expansion where the elements are on quite the rise, they've been mysteriously quiet. Who knows? Who knows what the future's going to bring? I just wanted to throw out this little train of thoughts. And by all means, let me know what you think, team. Are we onto something here? What would you like the story to bring? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, see ya!